Alrighty, yo, what is going on everybody? It's your boy Mr. DDG94 back with another reaction video. Today we're going to react to the rise and fall and rise again of T-Mobile. I just want to say this. This is personal because T-Mobile fucked up my live stream for last Saturday. Knock on wood, they don't fuck it up for Saturday again. But I'm still gonna get on their ass for this shit. So yeah, man, T-Mobile, we on your ass.
Today's video is sponsored by Stamps.com. I've been using Stamps.com.
Sponsor block, what are you doing?
The link is in the description.
Sponsor block, what are you doing? Do your fucking job.
T-Mobile is one of the largest cell phone service providers in the United States.
Fuck
They're
T-Mobile.
easily recognized by that famous magenta logo. You don't see a lot of magenta. I am going to guess that a lot of the people
T-Mobile.
watching this
Sprint
have
whenever.
personal experience with T-Mobile, considering that they have grown their subscriber base to over 100 million U.S.
Sprint
customers,
whenever.
placing them almost at the same level as Verizon and AT&T, with no other competitor being nearly as significant. Those are the big three. Though, in many ways, T-Mobile stands out from those other two, having disrupted the industry and in the process gaining an arguably more dedicated following. What I'm saying here is that T-Mobile is a successful company with a fairly positive reputation, but that has not always been the case.
Shit.
Looking back, around 2012, if you remember, that was when their commercials were centered around Carly, the T-Mobile girl. Well, no offense to her, but maybe not the most effective campaign because they were struggling. Their sales were falling, they were losing money, and they had a terrible reputation. Most people saw them as more of a discount provider that might be able to save you some money, but you simply were not going
Metro
to get the network
PCS.
or the service that was offered at AT&T or Verizon. In fact, those two were in their own league. They were the bigger, more reliable providers, while Sprint and T-Mobile were like the next level down. And by the way, T-Mobile was even lower than Sprint at
As they
point.
should be.
I have a separate video that focuses on what happened with Sprint, but
We'll do Sprint some other time. We'll do Sprint some other time. RIP to Sprint.
T-Mobile would go on to...
Y'all ain't shit either. Don't get it twisted. Sprint, y'all ain't shit either. Y'all motherfuckers used to charge way too fucking much for goddamn phone service. And y'all service was shit. But at least that motherfucker was on, though. That's what I will say. At least y'all shit was on.
To surpass them in 2015 and actually acquire them in 2020. All of it is reflective of T-Mobile's incredible comeback that I think is such a great story. So in this video, I want to talk about the rise, fall, and rise again of T-Mobile. For the initial rise, it gets a little tricky. Depending on how you want to look at it, T-Mobile technically has roots going back to the 1800s, originally formed as part of the German government. Yeah, shortly after the invention of the telephone, they started building up a network of phone lines throughout the country so the people of Germany could more easily communicate with each other. That system was mostly destroyed during World War II, but slowly rebuilt afterward and was further expanded and modernized after East and West Germany came together. That is obviously a brief overview of more than a century of history because everything becomes much more relevant starting in the 1990s. Laws were passed in Germany that led to their telephone system becoming a public company that would no longer be fully owned by the government. As a way to establish a brand identity to attract investors and become more competitive on the market, they renamed the system Deutsche Telekom and came up with that now iconic T logo to represent the telecom part of it. They had their initial public stock offering in late 1996, raising $13 billion, I guess making it the largest IPO ever at the time, that was followed by the sale of even more stock later on. Now, in the 1990s, telecommunications were advancing fast and becoming more competitive than ever. The obvious way to keep up with the competition was to expand globally, and the easiest way to do that was to acquire already established telecom companies in other countries. For example, almost right at the same time, British Telecommunications had agreed to acquire the American company MCI in what would have been the largest foreign purchase of a US company, though it never ended up happening. So Deutsche Telekom was looking to use that money that they had just raised to buy some foreign telephone companies. They bought separate ones all around Europe, in England and Austria, Slovakia. They even attempted to buy a massive one in Italy for $82 billion. That also
damn.
never happened. Today, Deutsche Telekom is the third most valuable company in Germany, with 78% of the revenue coming from international operations. So, as part of these global expansion efforts in 2001, they acquired a US wireless provider called VoiceStream for $35 billion. Seemingly a high price for the country's 8th largest wireless carrier with only 2 million subscribers, but the US wireless market was believed to have amazing potential, and since VoiceStream was one of the few providers that was not already part of a much larger company, this was their way in. Soon after, they completely rebranded VoiceStream as T-Mobile, taking that T from their existing logo. So that's it. That's how T-Mobile seemed to pop up out of nowhere in the United States. The wireless market was taking off. It was supported by a large company making significant investments with a memorable ad campaign featuring actress Catherine Zeta-Jones and their slogan, "Get More." T-Mobile became one of the fastest growing wireless brands, reaching 25 million subscribers within a decade. To be clear, never coming close to the market leaders. I mean, how could they possibly? But all things considered, T-Mobile was a relatively new, successful brand.
Oh yeah, the sidekick was what. Hey, the sidekick. Hey, we gotta talk about it though. The sidekick. Oh my god, the sidekick, bro. I had the pay-as-you-go service. Y'all remember them pay-as-you-go phones? I had a T-Mobile sidekick, but it was pay-as-you-go. Nigga, when I tell you, boy, that T-Mobile sidekick, let me tell you, boy. Let me tell you, that T-Mobile sidekick was the most fire cell phone I ever had. I wish the motherfucker still was. I wish you could still have the motherfuckers, man. I wish the motherfuckers came back, bro. I really do. I really do. I wish these motherfuckers came back, bro. I really do. I wish the T-Mobile sidekick came back. That was the most fire phone I ever had, nigga. I had so much. I had so much pussy titty pics in that fucking phone, nigga.
Who's a freaky ass nigga? Who's a freaky ass nigga?
Freaky
Who's a
frog?
freaky ass nigga?
You freaky,
Who's a
you
freaky
freaky
ass
frog?
nigga? Who's a freaky
man,
ass
I can't even
nigga?
tell you, bro.
Who's a freaky ass nigga? Who's a freaky ass nigga? Who's a freaky ass nigga? Who's a freaky ass nigga?
I used to have some baddies in my fucking T-Mobile sidekick. I'm mad though, cause that motherfucker broke on me one day, bro. I was going through that phone, nigga. I was trying to hide it though. Because I wasn't using it. And my sister, she was like 5 years old. She started playing with phones because she wanted to act grown. You know how little girls is. You know they want to act grown just like the adults and shit. So I had the T-Mobile sidekick, and I had that motherfucker. In a shoebox, and I forgot the reason why I brought it out the shoebox and plugged it in. I think I was trying to get all them pictures up off of it. I was trying to get all the pictures up off of it and put it on my laptop. And I left the motherfucker on my bed. I come home from school. I was looking at her like, why you got my sidekick? My mom was like, she can play with it. You don't use it no more. You got that iPhone. You got that little iPhone. You good. I'm like, still though, I may not be using it, but I still use it from time to time. That's why it was sitting on my bed. So can I have my T-Mobile back, please? My heart was racing like a motherfucker. Cause that motherfucker was, I left that motherfucker on the charger too. That was the bad part, bro. thank God my sister didn't know how to work that damn T-Mobile because she didn't know what the fuck to do. She did not know how to work that T-Mobile. Thank God she went straight to the games. All she saw was games, and she was playing the little games on there. Thank God she didn't go into the fucking man. Boy, I would have been, boy. Nigga, if she would have went into them text messages, saw all them text messages from 2007 to 2010, boy, my ass would have been grass. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, my ass would have been grass, bro. That T-Mobile sidekick was fire, boy. Oh man, I had some.
Lose momentum. One of the possible reasons behind the trouble was having a weak network.
Yes, their network is garbage.
Dropped calls and lack of coverage. And that's aggravating to the customer. That is the kind of thing that will make them avoid T-Mobile in favor of more reliable competitors. At the end of
But here's the thing though. You can afford Metro PCS. AT&T, they gonna rob you. Verizon, even though they're good, they don't have coverage everywhere. They got some real dense areas, especially in the Midwest. They got real dense areas in the Midwest. So Verizon ain't it, my boy. Verizon ain't it either. Sprint definitely ain't shit, but the motherfucker got good coverage. But it was really just AT&T because they had the most coverage, but them motherfuckers, and they knew it too. We got the best coverage. We got the best speeds. We got the best network. And we're going to charge you $400. We're going to start you off at $80. But 3 years from now, you'll be paying us $400. How the fuck is a phone bill $400? Bro, I never understood. Yo, AT&T is the scumbag. If Sprint is a piece of shit, then AT&T is the scumbags of the internet and phone services. These AT&T is the worst. These motherfuckers are scumbags. I would never.
2012, they were the only one of the big four that had yet to launch their 4G LTE network. I do not want to get very technical with any of this, but they were falling behind and developing a negative reputation because of it. Another potential reason for the struggles would be a failed attempt to merge with AT&T. Yeah, the two companies tried to combine together in a $39 billion deal that would have created the biggest carrier on the market. However, the FCC and the Department of Justice felt that the industry wouldn't be competitive enough if that happened, so they ultimately gave up on it, and the whole attempt ended up being a huge waste of time and money. Finally, T-Mobile was also struggling because they were the only one of the big four carriers that did not offer the iPhone to their customers. I realize that might not sound very significant, but that was a very desirable phone with a dedicated fan base, so you can imagine how many customers were passing on T-Mobile simply because they wanted an iPhone. All of these factors came together to put T-Mobile in a questionable position. They were declining financially and maybe even becoming the laughingstock of the industry. That is not where you want to be, so they made some changes to try to turn things around, starting in September of 2012 when they named a new CEO, John Ledger, who completely changed the direction of the company. If you're not familiar with him, I'm just gonna say that he is a bit of a character, outspoken and unconventional, not the type of person you would typically see running a major company like this, though maybe the perfect person to do it if you're looking to shake things up. I think this is interesting. T-Mobile had a rule where people who worked at the stores were not allowed to have visible tattoos or piercings, and one of the first things he did was get rid of that rule. Probably not too significant in itself, but it represents his rebellious attitude and refusal to accept rules without questioning them. Here's what I'm leading to here. He did not like the way that the industry operated. Early on, he says that he would listen in on customer service calls so he can learn the biggest complaints that people had against them. He found out that people were aggravated with T-Mobile and the other phone carriers because everything was so confusing and complicated. The phone that you got would be a lower price if you got it with a 2-year contract, but then you can't upgrade it until a certain time or switch to a different company without paying to end that contract. Not to mention overage fees and whatever unexpected costs you see on your bill every month. It is a tricky system that I'm sure has aggravated most of us at some point. Ledger even said that if a Martian came to Earth to try to understand how it all works, he would end up just going right back home. So his idea for T-Mobile was to become the Un-carrier, different from all the others in that they are straightforward and simple with everything. No bundles, no contracts, basic rates, easier upgrades, pretty much eliminating all of that tricky stuff that was aggravating everybody. They would go so far as to pay the fee to cancel your contract with your existing carrier if you switched over to T-Mobile. A lot of the advertisements directly put down the competitors, and Ledger himself would insult them all the time, sometimes using offensive language and maybe taking it a bit too far. You see that? Trash talking the competitors is not something that you would typically expect from a CEO, and the others have since responded with some major changes meant to compete with the Un-carrier, so they really did disrupt things. People appreciated the honesty and transparency, and it made T-Mobile stand out, especially with the younger customers. Their customer base has more than tripled in size, adding millions of them every year, but it wasn't just from that initiative. Acquisitions have continued to be a big factor. Obviously, the one with Sprint in 2020 caused a big spike in customers, but another significant one is when they bought Metro PCS in a deal that closed in 2013. For one, the deal helped grow their presence in the prepaid market, but for two, the deal helped T-Mobile strengthen their network. They acquired assets from Metro PCS that they utilized, but also it allowed them to do this reverse IPO type transaction that resulted in T-Mobile US becoming a public company that raised money from the sale of stock that was used to strengthen their network. In 2013, they finally launched their 4G LTE network, and to take it a step further, in 2019, they claimed to launch the first nationwide 5G network. Yeah, it's all kind of intangible and hard to compare, but T-Mobile has invested a lot of money to make it bigger and better. Everyone has their own experience, but I think almost anyone would agree that it is significantly better than it was back in 2012, maybe even among the best at this point. The last factor of the comeback that I'm going to talk about is the iPhone. I don't have too much to say about this, but T-Mobile finally made a deal with Apple where they could start selling the iPhone in 2013 when they were already on the iPhone 5. It was a little late, but I'm sure broke down a barrier that had previously detracted loyal Apple consumers. To finish things up, John Ledger left the company right when the Sprint merger happened, and they have continued to grow from there, reaching an all-time high in sales every single year since they became the Un-carrier.
If I could be honest with you, the iPhone is the most overrated thing in the world because, dog, you can't do nothing with it like you can with an Android. Like, here's the thing. With an Android, I can download music off the internet illegally. I can watch movies on illegal apps. And all I got to do is go into my settings and turn something off. And I can do all the illegal shit I want to. And there's no restrictions. Whereas with an iPhone, you got to pay for damn near everything. If I wanted a hacked version of Spotify, where I don't get ads and unlimited skips, I could just go on my web browser and download that. But if I go on the iPhone, the only way I could do that is if I pay for premium or I jailbreak it. But if I jailbreak it, I'll fuck up the warranty. And y'all know, like I know, that these iPhones ain't shit. Plus, you can't go deep into the settings. You can't clean up your iPhone. They don't got apps where you can clean it up. What they do, this is the scam that, and let me point this out. This is the very big scam that iPhones do. This is why I don't have an iPhone anymore. I stopped after iPhone 6. iPhone 6 was my last iPhone I think I've ever had in my life. iPhone 6 was the last phone I ever had. I think I had that phone for like a year and I sold it. I sold it on eBay for like $200. I sold it on eBay for like $200, my G. Swear to God. I'm gonna just tell y'all right now. The iPhone, you can't clean up nothing. That's how they get you. The more you use the phone, the more the cache builds up, the more the data builds up, the RAM starts slowing down, and then you have no way of cleaning up your phone to make your phone run faster. But if I do it with my Android or my Samsung, whatever the fuck you got, that's an Android device, I can literally just go into my settings, clear my cache, clear my data, get rid of a bunch of junk files, temporary files that's saved up in my phone. And next thing you know, my phone is running like clockwork. I can have my Android phone longer than y'all can have an iPhone. You can only have an iPhone for a year before that motherfucker just stop working the way you want it to work. And they do it on purpose. They add more shit to it. Every update, they add shit to it. And they add so much on to the point where it slows your phone down. And that's how they get you to buy the next one. Use your fucking brain. Just use your fucking brain. It's not that hard. Use your fucking brain. Y'all really out here buying iPhones. And they've been running this scam on y'all for how long? How many times have they told you that iPhone? How many times have they told you that this iPhone got this, that, and the third? And it's literally just the same phone from last year. And then they charging you more the next year. You literally, and don't give me that bullshit about the camera. If you buying a phone for the camera, that is the dumbest shit ever. You're buying a phone for think about it. You're buying a phone for the camera. Not for the features, not for the functionality, not for the specs to see if it's going to run faster, be longer, so that way you don't have to buy the next iPhone. You can skip a couple of generations, and then when you feel like upgrading, you could just upgrade. No. You niggas been getting robbed for so long, and you keep coming up with this excuse about the fucking camera. Nobody cares about the fucking camera. So what if you can record a Tubi movie, a full-length Tubi movie on an iPhone? So fucking what? If the functionality is trash and the shit is only there to make sure, oh my God. I'm here to tell y'all right now, man. Y'all are the worst. I want y'all to know that. Because y'all keep buying these damn iPhones like fucking idiots, failing to realize that it's the same fucking phone. You can literally skip a couple of generations. Why not try out other phones? Why keep paying $2,000 to $5,000 for another phone? That's so dumb. The iPhone is so overrated. I never understood the hype.
Profits every year as well. By almost any measure, T-Mobile has been one of the biggest success stories over the past decade or so, and may continue to get bigger. They have essentially closed that gap to catch up to AT&T and Verizon, so it's going to be interesting to see where things go from here. They look completely different today when compared to back then, so how are they going to look in the future? Let me know in the comments, what do you think about T-Mobile? How do they compare to any of the other carriers? And if you have been with them for a while, how has that changed over the years as far as coverage and pricing and billing? And
I remember that. That was the Palm. That was the first Android. The Palm.
Now, but what has been your
I remember
experience?
that phone. That phone was trash. I had a girl who had that phone. That phone was trash.
Maybe away from them for some reason. And any other thoughts you have about T-Mobile or Deutsche Telekom or anything else in this video, leave them in the comments. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Thank you for watching.
Yeah, man, fuck T-Mobile, man. Y'all some assholes, man, for last weekend, man. Fucking up my live streams and shit. Oh, bitch ass niggas. I dare you. Hey, man, don't fuck up this one, man. Let me live stream. Let me be great, T-Mobile. Let me be great. Why y'all fucking with me, man? Why y'all fucking up my shit, man? I got a good thing going on here and you fucking it up for me. You got one more time, T-Mobile. One more motherfucking time. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna fuck y'all up. I'm gonna fuck one of y'all up. If I see any nigga with a T-Mobile shirt, I'm gonna fuck you up.